Namo Namaste Gurave Mahatmane Vimukta Sangaya Saduttamaya Nityadvayananda Rasaswarupini Bhumni Sada Paradayam Budhamni Namaste Namaste Vibho Vishwamurte Namaste Namaste Chidanandamurte Namaste Namaste Tapoyogagamya Namaste Namaste Shruti Jnanagamya Swarajya Samrajya Vibhutiresha Bhavat Kripa Shri Mahima Prasadat Prapta Maya Shri Gurave Mahatmani Namo Namaste Stu Punarnamostu Namo Namaste Stu Punarnamostu Namo Namaste Stu Punarnamostu Namastasmai Sadaikasmai Kasmai Chinmahase Namaha Yadetad Vishwarupena Rajate Guru Rajate Yadetad Vishwarupena Rajate Guru Rajate. Hari Om Tat Sat Jai Guru. Just show from the beginning, I'll just recapitulate the whole thing. Show from the second slide on. See, yesterday we discussed that Bhagavad Gita is a revolutionary presentation of the same spirituality which is there in the Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita is nothing new, it is presenting the same knowledge which is discussed elaborately in the Upanishads, and that Bhagavad Gita itself says, Vyasadeva says at the end of each chapter, Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu, that it is belonging to the Upanishad. But the glaring difference is that all the Upanishadic discussions, they took place under a peaceful circumstances between the Guru and the Shishya, sitting in the hermitage or on the bank of the river. Yesterday I discussed in detail, it was all in the king's palace. All are like that, everywhere, whether it is Brihadaranyaka, Chandogya, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ashtavakra Samhita, everywhere it is like that. But Bhagavad Gita is a discussion given in the war field. So naturally we should not neglect that part and try to say that it is our internal war they are discussing, it's not the actual war and all. Those are, we don't think that it is like that. Particularly the importance of presenting in the background of the war field is that it is to be practiced in when we are involved in action, when we are active, not going out in the forest or hermitage or the ashram and sitting in for meditation. So that we should not miss. When we say that, Swamiji, what shall I do, office and household work, I don't have time. Always we should remember that we cannot think of an activity which is more involving than the war. That too a Mahabharata war, where we have to kill our own people, the most beloved grandfather, the most respected teacher, we have to ready to kill them and get killed also. Not only that, it is not the war of present kind that you go on sending bombs and all through planes, or now through drones and all that. It was not like that. You have to be present right in the war field. So how much of involvement and distraction will be there? So it is not a question of whether, nobody is asking you to sit in meditation in the war field, or sit in meditation in the office, or sit in meditation when you are cooking. But the sadhana is an all-time sadhana in Bhagavad Gita. There comes the speciality of the Bhagavad Gita. So the next slide, show that. So it is, instead of abandoning activities, make actions an instrument of liberation. That is, in Bhagavad Gita, you don't have to leave the activities. Whatever activities you are involved in, Bhagavad Gita is asking you to make it a yoga. Make it a yoga practice. How? By introducing the yoga attitude. That is, whatever we are doing, we will do with the yoga attitude. That we had started discussing yesterday. So this is a very, very important point, that nobody should complain that I am not getting time for sadhana. Once we understand what is this sadhana, and I will try to explain to the extent practically as possible. In the morning also I was saying that we are always given to try to explain which will be relevant to our everyday activity. Otherwise, as a scholarly presentation and all, we are not interested in. So, when we are saying that it should be practiced when we are active in the field of any action, what do we mean? We are not asking the Swamiji, how can I think of the Atma when I am writing the exam, or when I am driving a car? You are not supposed to think of the Atma. What is the Atma? Suppose anybody is doing meditation. What is your goal? Normally in Vedantic meditation or spirituality, the goal is to realize the Atma, to have Atma Sakshatkara, and finally to have the knowledge of the Atma. Now what is that Atma? It is a Atma we are coming to know from the Shastras. We don't know about Atma otherwise. We know about our I to some extent, but the concept of the Atma is discussed in the Shastras. And what are the dimensions of the Atma that Shastras are telling us? They are saying that Atma is not many, it is one. It is not even one, it is transcendental. When you say one, there is a concept of something limited. It is not even that, it is transcendental. All other things in the entire creation, everything is getting born, undergoing change, and finally getting destroyed. Only the Atma, which is not anywhere in the objective world, anywhere in the objectude, it is the subject, the I, that does not undergo any change at all. It always remains the same. It is the revealer of the world, the changeful world, and the whole changeful world is appearing in that Atma, but the Atma never gets affected by anything at all. Another thing I always point out to make our concepts clear, that in Mundakopanishad 6th verse, which is very important, in the last line he is saying, Tad avyayam yad bhuta yonim paripashyanti dhiraha. Dhiraha paripashyanti. The one who are wise, who are knowers, they see everywhere. Paripashyanti means there is nowhere they miss. Everywhere, every time. In Kenopanishad it is pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. There cannot be any perception without knowing the Atma. In every perception it has to be known. Tad avyayam yad bhuta yonim paripashyanti dhiraha. What kind of bhuta yoni means? The womb of everything that is born. The womb of creation. Whatever is born. Now, any womb means the cause, means the source from where the creation is coming. In the material world, in the whole creation, in the objectude, the entire objectude, we cannot think of a cause which is giving rise to an effect without changing. When the sun is radiating, the sun is undergoing a change in the proportion of hydrogen and helium. Anywhere. Everywhere the effect is born and the cause is dying. That the cause is undergoing a change. The source is always undergoing a change. So here he is saying that avyayam yad bhuta yonim, the bhuta yoni, the source of the entire creation, which does not undergo any change also at all. Avyayam means unchanging. So can we think of any such source in even the space, time, anything? No. Not changing, giving rise to the whole creation, we cannot even think of. It is possible only in the case of the consciousness, our Atma or the Brahman, in which actually it is not giving rise to any world that way. The whole world is vivatta srishti, we say. It is not a parinama srishti. Parinama srishti means where the cause changes and the effect is born. In this case, the cause, whatever on which the substratum remains the same substratum on which it is appearing. Just like to some extent you can think of the dream. In the dream you are having a new world with so many things, war or warship or aircraft and whatnot, everything you are seeing. But it is all just appearing in the mind. When the scenery is gone, you find the mind remaining the same. Nothing has happened. So like that, in the consciousness, the whole creation is appearing, but the consciousness is not undergoing any change at all. So this is the nature of our Atma. So don't forget what I was telling. I always will forget, but you should not. That what are we trying to do in meditative sadhana or scriptural sadhana? We are trying to realize the Atma, which is all embracing, revealing everything, which does not get affected by anything happening in the universe. Any galaxies getting born or galaxy getting destroyed also, it is not touched by anything at all. Such an Atma we are talking about, which always remains unchanging, unaffected, universal, unattached to anything, no Sangha. Such an Atma we are talking about. So what Bhagavad Gita is asking us to do is establish that same Atma in your interactive life also. How? While interacting, you will find that always our mind is going to selfish orientation. What I will gain from here, what I will not gain, various fears of losing something, various expectations and desire of gaining something. So the mind always becomes small. In our activities, we are not doing the activities, whatever to be done, we are doing. No gain is expected for me. That is, our activities are always desire motivated and gain oriented. Whatever we are doing, it is desire motivated and gain oriented. Those activities have to be changed in the manner that our attitude will not be desire oriented and gain oriented. Both have to be. So you can do the same work, not having the desire. We have discussed enough on desire, we will again come today also. The desire is finally, whatever may be the desire, the final desire is to become happy. That I will open a factory that will produce cars which will be very useful after 10 years when it is produced, then it will sell at a very great price, I will become a multimillionaire. All this can be there. But finally what? By that I will become happy. Or maybe my family will become happy. So if my family becomes happy, I will become happy. So everywhere this I will become happy is the internal result of any activity we are engaged in. Mark these words. I am talking about the internal result, not the external result. And whole Bhagavad Gita never speaks about the external result. It is all about the internal result. Phalatyaga does not mean that you create something and then you renounce it. Then what is, can you? You cannot. In the objective world, everything is progressing according to the cause and effect chain. When every effect is a result, it is not that at the end of the work some result is coming. Every moment we are doing something and that is producing some effect, and that becomes the cause for the next effect. That becomes the cause for the next effect. So it is a progressive cause and effect chain. So can you say at the end of it that I renounce it? It has no meaning at all. You have created something, you have given birth to a son and you throw away the son, I don't want it. Even if you throw away, it will not be renouncing. because it is a new action that you are entering into. The child which is born, you are abandoning the child. This is another new action. The result again, what are you going to do? Can you abandon the result? It is absolute foolishness. Objective result cannot be renounced. Bhagavad Gita or spirituality doesn't say anything about the objective result. Result to be renounced is that in any action we feel that by doing it and getting the objective result, whatever it is, we will become happy. That is why when we do not get that result, we become unhappy. Or we become part happy. So it is the internal result that the Bhagavad Gita is talking about. Phalatyaga means you should not think that by doing that I will become happy. Because happiness is not outside. So many times we have said. Suppose seeing a beautiful scenery or the sea and all, you are very happy, extremely happy that day. Suddenly the news comes, you have lost your job. What happened? Where is the happiness gone? The sea is still in front, the mountains are still in front. What happened to your happiness? If the happiness is there in seeing the sea or so, you are still seeing the sea. What has happened to the happiness? Happiness is a production of the mind in a particular condition. Suppose you stay on the sea beach for 1 year, or not even 1 year, 2 weeks. You will not look at the sea also. It will not produce any more happiness. You will start fighting with whomever you have gone there, arguing with him, and all these things will happen there. Sea is forgotten. So happiness is the state of the mind, and our rishis, they discovered actually the ananda, the happiness is right a coordinate of our soul, our atma. We don't have to create happiness anywhere at all. It is always oozing out from our inmost level what we really are. Because there is no bheda buddha. In reality, we are all that universal atma. The moment we remove the bheda buddhi, the differential, that raga dvesha from the mind, we will always remain happy. It is the raga dvesha, preference and prejudice, which is sangha towards certain things and hatred towards certain things, which is not allowing us to become peaceful. Happiness is a natural swabhavika of our swarupa, of our soul. Why are we missing it? Because the mind is not having the dimension to absorb that happiness or experience that happiness. To experience that happiness of the soul, the mind has to have the soul dimension. With a small mind, that is why nobody has the God realization, because we want God to come, but we want God to come in our own manner. Becoming small, and so God has to become small with 4 legs and, no, not 4 legs, 2 legs and 10 hands or so, as Durga or anybody. Only then we will, God hai. If the God is destroying everything also, no, we cannot accept. God is a good God. He cannot create any criminals. He cannot create any bad. Our mind, when it can transcend all these limitations, all these constrictions, then only it will be able to experience the soul. That is why we are not able to. So what we are experiencing as happiness is a very small portion, a small caricature of that happiness, and that we are very happy with that when we are experiencing. How it is happening? When the mind becomes peaceful, when the mind is no more agitated. That is the basic discovery of our rishis, that how the fulfillment of a desire makes us happy. I have talked about it so many times, but there is no end to it. We can go on thinking again and again until it becomes completely absorbed. That when we are having a desire, suppose a strong desire particularly, then to fulfill it, we forget everything else, is it not? When we have a very strong desire, suppose you want a promotion and you have to complete the whole work given by your boss, and you forgo your sleep also. Nowadays it's very common. You forgo your food, forgo your sleep, and you are very intensely thinking of it. Now, when you get whatever you wanted, you expected, then immediately what happens? The desire is fulfilled, so that desire is no more there, the agitation is no more there. Desire was causing a stress in the mind. That stress has gone when it is fulfilled. So the moment the stress is gone, we feel the happiness of the soul. Until another desire comes up and again makes the mind collapsed. Another desire or fear. Suppose it is something you got, you are waiting for some gain and you have got it. So next moment will be, first you will be very happy, then the fear of losing it. Either a desire of getting or a fear of losing it will take over your mind. Again the mind will become agitated. Suppose you have made a building, your mind, the first day you enter will be very happy, till the other things starts troubling your mind. That you have to look after the building now. So what are you going to do? All the troubles will be coming, and at that time happiness will go. So actually it is, the happiness is coming not by the fulfillment of the desire. Desire is always causing a stress to the mind, causing unhappiness. It is the cause of the unhappiness. When the desire is fulfilled, actually the desire is eliminated. And so the cause of the stress has gone. So we feel happy. So happiness comes not from the fulfillment of the desire, but from the elimination of the desire. So why not eliminate all the desires and be happy always? That is what the spiritual people want to do. When they understand this fallacy of desire fulfillment, the desire is only making us unhappy. And when that desire is eliminated, that corresponding stress is gone and we become happy. Now people will say that then if the desire is gone, will we not do anything? We will not do anything because all our activities are desire motivated. The whole universe doesn't need any desire to work. The earth has any desire, the sun has any desire, the plants have any desire, the flowers have any desire. The whole universe is blossoming with unimaginable activities. Nowhere there is any desire. So why do we need desire? We have certain capability, we have all the ability to do many things. According to that, we will naturally do whatever to be done, whatever is the need of the world. And we will do from the point of happiness, not for gaining happiness. There comes the major difference. The whole Bhagavad Gita is saying you don't have to work anything expecting happiness at the end of the action. If you can eliminate the desire, you will work from joy, from happiness, not for happiness. That is why when you do something, as yesterday or sometime I was talking about, people are filling in rice for the distribution or putting stamp in the ashram, in a teamwork they are doing, working. They are so happy working. What are they doing? At home, if they have to do it, they will go away from home. Am I supposed to fill rice in the bags, and that to thousands and thousands of bags? Why are you getting happy? You are doing something for the others where you don't have any gain to think of. You don't get any promotion in the ashram. Even if you fill 1,000 bags in an hour, you will not have any promotion. In the factory, if you do the same thing, you may get a promotion or an allowance or something. Here there is no question of any gain, no question of anything losing also. You are doing it with a free mind. I had put that question, nobody has answered, I think. It is the free mind which is giving us the joy. Free mind and the teamwork, that we are all working together. So our small soul becomes big, at least the team soul it becomes. And that gives us the joy in the work, in the teamwork, when we are doing without any gain orientation. That is why in ashram and all, those who do service, that very happily they do service, mostly after retirement. Before that they don't come. So that happiness is actually being spoiled by desire. Once we do the vichara, we do think and think and think, then only the enlightenment will dawn. And we will understand that we don't need any desire to work. Whatever we have, and when there is no desire, you will find that you will be working at your highest efficiency. It is very easily understood. Why? When is the mind in its peak efficiency? Tell me. When it is peaceful, when it is not agitated, when it is not under stress. So desire is always, desire, expectation, fear, these are all causing stress to the mind. If they are not there, then you will do anything, whatever you are doing it in your best, with your best efficiency, best possible way. Is it not? So why do we need? If anything to be done, we have to do, we will do it. But not with the expectation of happiness. And Bhagavad Gita there comes up with a very great statement that we are born with two things. One is the abhava bodha. That means there is an insufficiency, feeling of insufficiency right from birth. Why? Because actually we are infinite. We are the universal soul. But while taking birth, we have forgotten that we start with a small identity. So this forgetting that real identity still remains in the inmost level. And because we are not able to identify with that universal dimension, we feel that we are apurna, we are unfulfilled, we are small. That is called the alpa bodha, that is insufficient bodha. We feel ourselves to be small, abhava bodha, that is we need something. And we try to feel, that second point is that we are born with a delusion that something from the world, from the objective universe or objectude, will be able to fulfill that abhava bodha, which is absolutely wrong. You look at the whole world, who has become fulfilled by what? From the world? Money, fame, power. Nobody has fulfilled by any of this. Still we believe that this will fulfill me, that will fulfill me. We go on doing that. So this is the delusion. This is the abhava bodha, is because we have forgotten our real identity. And the delusion keeps us forgetting the real identity by instituting that delusion that we will fulfill it by gaining something from the world, which never happens. So the real identity within is crying, telling that stop your running away. Come back, I am there, you come back to me, you will be fulfilled with the Ananda. Ananda is our original state from which everything is coming up. So, don't forget what I started with. I said that in the meditation, what is our goal is to realize this real identity. So, that real identity we have to establish in our active life also. That the same dimensions we will cultivate in our interactive life. We are not asking you to sit there and meditate on the soul and absorb and become thoughtless or anything of that sort. If you become thoughtless, you won't be able to do anything. You will become zero there. So Bhagavad Gita is repeatedly trying that what will give you that dimension in the active life. So that all the constrictions, the gain-oriented motivation, desireful motivation, they will go. The entire Bhagavad Gita discussion is that. Now it is devolving on an understanding of our buddhi, which is the fundamental of understanding faculty. Because it is to understand the truth, realize the truth. That is, ignorance or ajnana is covering up our real identity. So our real identity we don't have to create, it is already there. The ajnana is covering up. So by the enlightenment, by constantly thinking about the reality, analyzing the reality, doing vichara on the reality, that ajnana will be removed. Just like when the cloud is removed, the sun becomes blazing forth. The sun becomes fully visible. We have not created the sun. The sun was there, only the cloud was covering. That cloud has to be shifted. Like that, our soul identity or the great universal identity is already there. We are already that. It is covered by the ajnana, the thinking that I am small. That ajnana is covered by all these spiritual knowledge, and whatever we try to do, all our sadhana, it has to be removed. Then you become that soul, and you start working not with any desire motivation. You start working whatever to be done, whatever is already out of ananda you will do. See how it is that when the love becomes universal, out of joy you will do good for others. That itself will be the propagating force, not any gain motivation. Wherever you will do good for the people, thinking welfare of the people, there lies the whole goal. It is not in one day sitting there and having the God and then, oh, I have become God realized. Who has become God realized? If you become God realized, that I will not be there. You will become universal. So what is that special I there? You cannot say I. So if I state it in a simple sentence briefly, that whatever is the goal of meditation or spiritual studies or so, that has to be the goal of our interactional life also. That goal in the meditation is Atma Sakshatkara in a state, special state of Samadhi or so. And in the interactive life, the same soul dimensions, we will work with that dimension of the soul, the universal unaffectedness. If I am getting affected, means it is not the soul dimension, I have to remain unaffected. If I am becoming small, selfish, self-centered, no, that is not the soul dimension. So everybody should be equal to us. We should be impartial, impersonal, unaffected, loving the whole universe. Whether the person belongs to our country, our religion, or belonging to anywhere else, or even it's an animal belonging to anywhere, we will not have any partial feeling, me and mine there. That sangha towards the me and mine will not be there. So this is what Bhagavad Gita does. I think I have answered many of the questions which people ask, that how can we do it while we are active. The Bhagavad Gita is meant for practicing when you are active. And if you leave your activity and go away, then you lose the opportunity, because your mind will remain same, narrow, selfish, constricted. If you go to the forest and try to become self-realized, or just by reading you try to become self-realized, the mind will remain small. So the Shuddhi, the purification will not happen. When we are active and interactive in the world, automatically the impurity and smallness will be thrown out, will be revealed. And there will be an occasion to correct it. If you leave activity and go away, then you will not have any occasion to correct it. So leaving activity takes place only when the mind is purified. And then you can simply get absorbed in the truth. But then also you can work from that point of view, not for desire motivated action at all. That is why we have said that instead of abandoning activities, make actions an instrument for liberation. Each action we take up, whenever we are doing, we find that the mind is not behaving with the dimension of the soul. So correct it, change it, get rid of all the smallness, get rid of all the ahankara, egoistic postures. It's not always happen, but every activity, every thought, if you can catch hold of your thoughts also, not activity. In the thought you will find every time this soul dimension is missing. We have to incorporate it there. That becomes the sadhana. So actually when you do actual karma yoga, you don't have to do karma really. It is not essential. The karma becomes internal. You watch your thoughts and find out wherever the constrictions are there. Try to straighten them up. Whether you do activity or not, it doesn't matter. It is the yoga attitude that matters. That whatever we are trying to have the Atma Sakshatkara in the meditation, that Atmic dimensions we will try to incorporate in our all activities. Show the next slide. So this we did. We will chant once this. That is because people know about Karma Yoga, Bhagavad Gita is Karma Yoga. Yes, it is Karma Yoga, but yesterday I explained that truly speaking, Bhagavad Gita repeatedly says that it is the Buddhi Yoga. And why Buddhi Yoga? Because to make the karma with the yoga attitude, you need this understanding of the Buddhi. That is, the Buddhi has to be anchored in the reality. That was the point. We will just chant this. Durena hyavaram karma.
Durena hyavaram karma.
Buddhi yoga dhananjaya.
Buddhi yoga dhananjaya.
Buddhau sharanamanvichha.
Buddhau sharanamanvichha.
Kripana phalahetavaha.
Kripana phalahetavaha.
Durena hyavaram karma.
Durena hyavaram karma.
Buddhi yoga dhananjaya.
Buddhi yoga dhananjaya.
Buddhau sharanamanvichha.
Buddhau sharanamanvichha.
Kripana phalahetavaha.
Kripana phalahetavaha.
This I had explained in great detail yesterday, that the Buddhi Yoga is far, far superior than doing karma with the desire motivation. And therefore you take your refuge in this Buddhi Yoga. Buddhau, that is the Yoga-buddhi. Yoga-buddhau sharanam anvichha. You take refuge in this Yoga-buddhi. If you don't do, generally we are kripana, we are miserly, we are constricted in our attitude, because we are always phalahetavaha, we are always active with the gain orientation. What I will get from here, what I will get from there. That is our attitude, which is a small attitude. We are wanting gain from everywhere. Now the next one. Karmajam buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchanti anamayam. He says that second line says that all the bondage they suffer from the birth onward, they transcend that and they attain the anamayam padam, where there is no bheda, no kalmasha, no impurity. They attain that. Who attain? He says karmajam phalam tyaktva manishinaha buddhi yukta hi karmajam phalam tyaktva anamayam padam gacchanti. That is, those who are manishi, those who are deeply thinking people, those who are wise people, they karmajam phalam tyaktva. See, we have to understand very well. When the karma, I said that karma means causality everywhere. Karma means causality. And in our case, karma means when the cause of that is the desire. That desire is making us work. So, karmajam phalam tyaktva means, if you think of the result as an objective result of what you have done, you cannot renounce it. You have taken food, your hunger will be satiated by that, if you have taken proper food. You cannot remove that and again become hungry just by renunciation. You have to digest it and then only again you can take. So there is no question of phalam tyaktva means objective phalam tyaktva. It means that the ultimate phala, what we are looking for, is that by doing it I will become happy. For becoming happy you don't have to do anything. The happiness is within. So what the manishis do is they never expect happiness from whatever they are doing. I always say that suppose they were expecting, suppose Swamiji was expecting from what he had been doing, writing and speaking for 65 years, 60 years or so, so seeing the result of it, would he become happy? Whatever is the result of whatever he has done, if he had wanted that, how many disciples are there? Very few. How many people have said that they have become knower by listening to you or taking initiation from you? Hardly anything. But can he stop his work? Out of love he does. Out of love he initiates people. After initiation they don't many cases they don't come back also. He doesn't know whether they are living or not. It doesn't depress him or making him unhappy about it at all. Certainly he will be happier if things were better. He would have been happier. But even if it is not there, it doesn't matter. He is not expecting anything from what he is doing. So that is what the Manishis do. And by that what happens? They get rid of, they are having no desires at all. That itself is a great state where he automatically proceeds towards the ultimate padam gacchanti anamayam padam gacchanti. Yadate moha kalilam buddhir vetitarishyati vi atitarishyati. Yadate moha kalilam buddhihi yadate buddhihi, when your buddhi, your intelligence, yadate buddhihi moha kalilam vetitarishyati. Vetitarishyati means be atitarishyati. Atitarishyati means transcending. V means vishesha rupena transcending. That means it is not in one moha. That moha means delusion. We are having so many delusions in so many fields. So the buddhi will overcome, will transcend that moha, that delusion in all fields, especially everywhere. That will not be there anymore. Vyatitarishati. Atitarishyati also they could have used as transcending. But they have used Vyatitarishati means atitarishyati. Vishesha rupena atitarishyati. That means very specifically they overcome all the delusion, which the buddhi, yadate buddhihi. When your buddhi, see again and again they are saying buddhi, because we have to understand that it is buddhi yoga. The ignorance is sitting primarily in the buddhi, and it has to be eliminated from the buddhi. The enlightenment dawns in the buddhi. Whether you have bhakti or you do karma or you do practice jnana, finally the spiritual knowledge will dawn in the buddhi. The ajnana is in the buddhi, jnana removes the ajnana from the buddhi. That makes us enlightened. So yada te buddhi moha kalilam vyatitarishyati. When it overcomes all the dross of delusion. Dross means kalmasha, all the impurities of moha kalilam means impurities created by the delusion. That means impurity basically in spirituality means any constriction of the mind is impurity. What are we trying to do? We are trying to have an universal, an infinite or even transcendental dimension. So anything that makes the mind small, constricted, is the moha, kalila, is the papa, is the impurity, bheda buddhi. Tadagantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. Then you attain an indifference towards whatever you have heard and whatever there will be you are going to hear. Because what does it mean? You become fulfilled. You have heard about Swarga, Naraka, you are doing karma to attain a Swarga or to avoid attaining a Naraka. These are all about the Paraloka. You have heard something, so many things about Ihaloka also, this to be done, that is to be done, this will give us happiness, that will make us great and all that. Nothing you will want. What does it mean? Kichui chaina. What does it mean? We become fulfilled. That is the Purnata, that is the fulfillment. So when the buddhi transcends the moha kalila, that the impurity of the delusion which is covering up and making it small, impure, fragmented, everything, then you become nirvedam, means you are indifferent about anything that may happen. They will say that, oh, why don't you go there, this will happen. Why don't you come there, this will happen. You are not interested in. If you have to go, something need is there, you will go and do, without expecting anything. Oh, here so many people are there, why don't you come and speak here, they will be very benefited. Well, if they are benefited, really, we will go, let us see what happens. If it is worth going, we will go. Otherwise there is nothing. स्वामी जी आपके आश्रम में कोई नहीं आते हैं. कैसे आएंगे स्वामी जी? बिकॉज यू आर स्पीकिंग PhD लेवल. लोग तो PhD लेवल नहीं है. आप हमें बोलिए, हम एक दिन भगवती जागरण कर देते हैं, 2000 लोग आ जाएंगे. आप करिए ना भगवती जागरण कहीं, और उसमें हमारा क्या है? 2000 लोग आप लीजिए, हमें तो नहीं चाहिए 2000 लोग, आप लीजिए उनको, हमें क्या करना है उसमें? Now, what is this Buddhi Yoga? Let us try to understand in a little more detail. This is our normal fate, that we are slave to the world. I have shown it perhaps here also earlier, I don't know, but there is no harm in repeating. Because it is not a knowledge that you once you know, you don't have to read again. Every time we think about it, even for us also, every time we talk about it, it is new. If you are in touch with the reality, it comes up with its new. I am the first listener of whatever is coming out. It is never old to me. I have explained this so many times in so many places, but every time I speak about it, I don't feel any monotony, or that it is already I have spoken, I have drawn, or so many times I have written. Nothing. It is every time new. That is why this truth is called Purana. Purana, you think that Purana means ancient. That is the meaning, common meaning. The real meaning is Pura eva navaiti. Purana means Pura eva navaiti, which was always new. Even in the oldest time also it was new. That is why the God is referred to as Purana also. Because it is always new. The consciousness, there is no question of becoming old, because it doesn't change. That which undergoes changes, that becomes old and new and all that. It doesn't change at all. It is always new, ever new. Chira navina or Purana. Pura eva navaiti. So it never becomes old. So normally we are like this because the world is constantly attracting and repelling us. Or rather, we are attracted to the world and getting repelled because of our raga dvesha. That is, we cling to what we like and we are intolerant or hating what we dislike. This is our mind's tendencies. Because of that, we become slave to the world. The moment something I like is not there, we lose our self-centeredness. If somebody is abusing, which I don't like, which I don't expect, immediately I also start abusing. That means I have lost my self-centeredness. I get agitated by that. Somebody is agitated and he is shouting at me. Then if I also become agitated by that, then am I not slave to the world? That is how we always become slave, because I don't like to be abused by others, to be scolded by others. So we lose our self-centeredness. So it is because of our likes and dislikes, and we cling to what we like and we hate or we are intolerant about what we dislike, which causes, because of which we get affected by the world. Let us understand once for all. All the affectations we are suffering from is because of this. We cling to the likes and we are intolerant about the dislike things. It is not the world which is causing the affectation. If we become vairagi like the soul, anything will happen around. No affectation at all. It may happen that it is said in the Shastras, the whole ocean may become dry one day. The knower will not be affected or will not be fearful, or it's not unexpected also. If it happens, it happens. He is not get any disturbed out of, and not get disturbed about it. So this is our state. That why? Because the physical body with the five senses, they have their own likes and dislikes. They cling to what they like and they hate what we dislike. So following the senses, and all the senses cannot work without the mind, without the support of the mind. Just like in sleep, the senses mind is not there, so you are not able to. So the mind also follows the senses, and the likes of dislikes of the senses is also absorbed by the mind. It becomes mind's own likes and dislikes. But mind will further add some likes and dislikes to that. Like I like to be praised, I don't like to be scolded. These are not senses. Senses have already put this food I like, that vision I like, this work I like, this work I dislike. All these are from the senses, it is there. It is all followed by the mind also, because mind is associated with the senses. Plus it adds the subtle likes and dislikes of its own, the mind's own. So it is also getting slave to the world, following the senses. Now what does the buddhi do? Buddhi generally is always instigated by the mind, that I want to thieve, but there are very good guards put there, I cannot enter. The buddhi will say, oh, you give some good ice cream to the guards, they will be away, other person can enter at that time and you can thieve. It's the buddhi's job. Buddhi, what is it doing? It is also doing the wrong things, followed by the likes and dislikes, whatever the senses or the mind has, buddhi is following that. Buddhi is doing its duty of instructing the mind, guiding the mind, but guiding in the wrong way, being slave to the world. So this is our state. This diagram shows that all our faculties, up to the intelligence, which is the deepest for so far, they are all increasing our slavery to the world. They are not allowing us to become master of the world or become free. This is the bondage we are suffering from. Liberation is completely getting out of this bondage. Show the next one. Oh, there one line was that life controlled, life controlled by raga dvesha. So because raga dvesha is the fundamental. Then show that. Mastery over the world, life anchored in real identity. Now, what this Bhagavad Gita Sadhana wants to do is, I will just read a few verses before coming to this. It is in 3rd chapter. After saying that Kama Esha, morning also I dealt with Kama Esha Krodha Esha, na? This morning. Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava mahashanum mahapapma vidhyena miha vairinam. He has pointed out that the basic culprit is the desire, which is causing the problem. Then naturally, if we have to get rid of the desire, then first of all we have to know where the desire is residing. Chor pakadna hai to chor kahan baitha hai, kahan छिपा है, पहले जानना चाहिए ना. तो वो बता रहे हैं कि कहाँ चोर छिपा हुआ है. जे द नेक्स्ट वन, दैट इज 3.40. इंद्रियाणि मनोबुद्धि अस्याधिष्ठानम उच्यते. Kama is seated there. Kama means the result of Kama is Raga Dvesha. Same. Raga Dvesha is seated in these three. And what it is doing? Etair vimohayatyesha jnanam avritya dehinam. Seated in all these three faculties, it is covering up the jnana. What is that jnana? That I am universal, I am transcendental, I am not small, limited by the body. That jnana is covered by this kama, the desire. Desire comes from the smallness, otherwise desire will not be there. When I am universal, what we will look for? Kasya kamaya? What? Desiring what? Because everything is in me. There is no question of any further desire, any fear, any hatred, because all is in me. Yatra vishvam bhavati ekanidam. Where the whole universe has become one nest. You have no competition, no selfishness, no desire, no fear is possible. So he says that sitting there, then what do we have to do? Then we have to find out that they are sitting there, how we can eliminate them. So he is suggesting Indriyani paranyahuhu, Indriyebhya param manah. This is there in Kathopanishad also in a different form. Manasastu para buddhi yo buddhehe paratastu saha. He has given a gradual step-by-step process, because which is controlling what, unless we know. Suppose you try to control the senses first, but the mind and buddhi, they are all corrupted. They will again pollute it, you will not be able to. You have to go to the causal level, as I always say, that suppose Ganges is flowing from Gomukha in a trickle, and in Gangasagar it is 50 kilometers wide, more than that. So if you have to change the flow, will you try to push the water from Gangasagar? You cannot do anything. Go to the Gomukha, you change the stream, put other stones and all. If the flow starts going to the other direction, The whole flow will be different. So anything to change, to correct anything, we have to look for the causal level. We have to change in the causal level. This I had been discussing maybe in the morning or yesterday, I don't know. That how to correct our behavior. We have to go to the causal level, where the sadhana of bhava shuddhi is coming in 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So they have given the step by step. Indriyani parani iti ahuhu. Everybody says that the indriyas, the sense organs, are extremely powerful. Yes, they are extremely powerful. They are guiding us, like pulling us here and there completely by our hair. Indriyebhya param manaha. He says, but no, there is something superior to the indriyas, that is the mind. Unless the indriyas get the support of the mind, they will not be able to do anything. So, to control the indriyas, first of all, you have to change your mind. If the mind is changed, then the senses will be following properly. They will not be able to misbehave. First of all, he has said earlier that Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau niyamya bharatarshava. First you should check the indriyas, discipline the indriyas, because without disciplining the indriyas, this knowledge you will not understand, you will not be able to apply this also. First of all, some discipline has to be there. You will not be able to study. Those who are indriyas are absolutely agitated and all, such children will not be able to study even. So first, like the horses are put the two, what do you call it, I don't know, two covers, blinkers, whatever. So that is put. Like that, first the indriyas have to be controlled, he has said. Then he is saying that, know that the superior to indriya is the mind. So there is the whole, they are indicating, they will say at the end. So if the mind is to correct is to sublimate the sense organs or to discipline the sense organs, that the first of all the mind has to be pure. If it is already a corrupted mind, a polluted mind, how will it discipline the indriyas? How will it purify the indriyas? Do you get my point? So the mind has to be purified. Then only it can control it can purify discipline the indriyas. Then he says, manasastu para buddhihi. The mind has to be controlled by the intelligence, by the buddhi. So if the mind is already got polluted, for us always the mind has got polluted, you bring in the buddhi to advise the mind properly. Don't read all these things, you read something good so that your thoughts will be better, noble thoughts will come. Don't see these films, don't see this in internet. Then the mind will not be affected by all the wrong thoughts. All these things the buddhi will say. Buddhi is already corrupted, so how can it purify the mind? If the buddhi is impure, an impure buddhi will not be able to purify the mind, because it will always try to advise the mind in the wrong manner. So this triguna effect of impurity, purity, etc., it reaches up to from the senses, body, to the mind, to the buddhi. Up to this is the goal. Beyond that, these gunas do not go. So he says, Yo buddhe paratastu saha. Yo buddhe parataha tu saha. That is that we are talking about. That is Atma. That is where we have to go. What he is saying is that to purify the indriyas, you have to purify the mind. To purify the mind, you have to purify the buddhi. How will you purify the buddhi? Go to your own real pure identity, which is never affected by any of the constrictions of the mind and buddhi, any of the impurities of the world. It is untouched, it is unaffected always. Evam buddhehe param buddhva. See that word, buddhehe param buddhva. That which is transcending the buddhi, buddhva, that has to be understood by the buddhi. So normal buddhi will not be able to understand. It is superior to the buddhi, it is transcending the buddhi. How the buddhi will understand? But it has to. He says, evam param buddhehe param buddhva. That means the buddhi also can be purified by certain practice. Abhyasa vairagya abhyam. That buddhi has to be cultured. Then that buddhi will be able to actualize the dimension of the soul. Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhya atmanam atmana. Atma, which is superior to the buddhi, get established there. Samstabhyam, you get fully established there. By how, what? By your own faculties you have to do it. By your own buddhi you have to do it. Jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. You can win over the great enemy called kama, the desire, in this process. Absolutely scientific, clear process they have given. So we have written there, evam buddhehe param buddhva. So what is happening here? This is what we are repeatedly saying, that get anchored in the soul dimension. Suppose even if Atma is not there, I am saying Atma is there, it is very much there, only Atma is there, nothing else is there, only Atma is there. But suppose it had been only a concept. But we have, the Shastras have given the concept in such a manner that Atma is a reality before you with all its dimensions and all. Your buddhi should be able to actualize all those dimensions. Then it will get anchored in that Atma, non-existent Atma also. Just by the concept also we can do it. Constantly interact with that concept and imbibe those dimensions to the buddhi. So your buddhi will, like that, will be anchored in the soul, the Atma. What we will do? When the buddhi is anchored in the soul, means it is always fed by those infinite, unaffected, unchanging dimensions of the soul. That is constantly coming to the buddhi. Then the buddhi has become enlightened. We call it viveka buddhi, which we are studying in the morning. That is called viveka. When the buddhi, which is now anchored in the objective world of raga dvesha, likes and dislikes, through the mind, senses and all, the buddhi is constantly, it is cluttered in the objective universe. That buddhi, by feeding in the soul dimension, will completely turn and get anchored in the real identity. So that is how the buddhi getting anchored in the real identity, when it becomes the viveka buddhi, then it will be able to purify the mind. Then the mind will be able to guide the senses also with proper instructions and proper support, so that it moves, goes to the final goal. Show the next one. This is, we have discussed so many times, I am showing again because this is what happens. Here in Kathopanishad, the senses, these horses are the senses, and the lagam, the reins, are the mind, and the sarathi, the driver, the charioteer, is the intelligence. So the horses are pulling the chariot. Chariot has to go to the goal. When you are sitting in the chauffeur-driven car, the driver, what does he do? The moment you sit, the driver drives the car, or he asks, "Saab kahan jana hai?" Malik ko पूछते हैं ना, where do you want to go? So our buddhi is the charioteer here, driver here. He never asks the soul, where do you want to go? It always asks the ghoda. See the reality there. Our buddhi is always asking the senses, where do you want to go? I will take you. Whatever nonsense it is, I will take you. He never looks to the soul, which is his ultimate goal, which is the ultimate auspicious goal. So the driver has to ask the Atma, the master of the chariot, where do you want to go? And accordingly it has to pull the lagam and manage the horses to take the charioteer to its ultimate goal. This is why we call it the integrated personality. That is, always our personality, different aspects of our personality are in clash. That the senses want something, the mind doesn't. If the senses and mind want, the buddhi doesn't allow. So always there is a clash going on. When it happens like that, the whole thing is a smooth flow of our body-mind personality, an integrated personality we result in. Here I have changed a little recent modification. I think Miru must be laughing because of that. That you find the mind in Kathopanishad, there is no bacha there. Here I have put a bacha. Because the rains appear to be very inert. They don't have any living element there. But the mind has got the full support of the consciousness. It's a faculty of consciousness. Buddhi, mind, they are faculties of consciousness. So they are a living. Although they are inert, but they have the living support there. So the lagam, we have not only the lagam along with the small boy sitting there. That is, I am telling, the mind. It is an improvisation on the Kathopanishad. It came from a real experience that we had gone to Baba's place in Dakshin Khanda. This story also I have told so many times. We were coming back, and that day our in a bailgadi, in a bullock cart, we were supposed to be dropped in the station, and that day our charioteer, that is the cartman, he wanted to train his grandson driving the way. And I don't know why we have never inquired about it. That day he put some new bulls for pulling the cart. They were absolutely indisciplined. So initially we sat, Keshtoda was the charioteer's name, Keshtoda and his grandson, both of them sat. I asked also Keshtoda, why this bacha is coming? No, I will train him. Okay. So we sat and the cart started moving. Dakshin Khanda, everybody was happy seeing us off and all. We went about 10 houses, which is the end of the village, maybe 10 or 15 houses. Suddenly we found the bullock cart that took a turn and ran into some other building and all. What has happened? Oh, that is their shed. They straight away went back to their shed and will not move from there. The screech stopped there. Then what will Keshtoda do? Keshtoda got down. He was running behind and the bacha was moving there. He said, no, chhata dikhao. Matlab, if you show umbrella, open the umbrella before the bull, then they will start running. So the bacha sat on the, and Keshtoda showed the umbrella. And immediately, it like a bullet, the cart ran with it. We started shouting that, leave us, we can walk to the station. Why take these new bulls and all? We're not disciplined. We can easily walk, but it was his prestige issue actually. So he will not allow us to walk also. It went, and that was the election time when lot of jeeps were coming. That election prachara was going on. So it's a narrow Kacha road, and two sides the coming down to the field where the cultivation is going on. Any truck coming, any jeep coming, the cart will go down that slope and stand there. Again when it goes, it will not move, again chhata. Like that we almost reached, maybe about 1 kilometer away from the station. A jeep was coming and it suddenly it ran down and went into a pond and stopped in the pond finally. It would have further gone in, it stopped. And all the villagers from around in another village, they started shouting, coming in, are you wanting to kill them? Allow them to walk? Are you wanting to kill them? That's another village. They don't know us. They found that some poor people are are in great danger. They came up. So then finally seeing that danger, Keshtoda allowed that we came down. They carried our bags to the station and we walked down to the station. So that bacha came to my mind from there, that only lagam will not do. It will depend on a mind should be like living. So we changed it. So how the indisciplined bulls can create havoc. That is why tasmat tvam indriyani adau, the first, niyamya bharatashava. First you have to discipline the sense organs, the horses. You cannot just tie any horse. You have to first discipline them. They become fit to drive the chariot, then only they will be tied. We will stop now. What is time? 8:15. So here the last one more slide. It is just summarizing this. So this is the integrated personality where disciplined senses following the mind guided by the intelligence anchored in the self dimensions lead us. So why do I have added a dimension word? Because many people may say that how can we anchor our intelligence in the self, because we don't know what is the self. You may not know what is the self, that means you may not have Atma Sakshatkara, but you know the dimensions of the self from the Shastras. You try to incorporate them. That is anchoring your buddhi in the self. Intelligence anchored in the self dimension lead us to integrated personality. The next one. Buddhi Yoga pursuit consists of, we can make it 4, we can make it 2, we can make it 6, any number. It's just seeing the number of days available, I make it, reduce it. Because all are same. Whether you mean samatvam, outliving raga dvesha, transcending guna bondage, sharanagati, they are only approach in a different manner. Basically there is no difference at all. If you do any one, it is more than enough. So we will discuss, take one by one from there. If time permits, all the 4 we will do. That is all configuring, consisting, the whole thing makes up the Buddhi Yoga. That how the Buddhi will be freed from its kalmasha, from its ignorance, and how the Buddhi, being enlightened, will lead us to the same goal in the interactive life as well as in the meditative life also. So the whole life will become integrated. It is not that 1 hour I practice spirituality and 23 hours I am doing, or say 17 hours I am doing something else. That is not the Bhagavad Gita way. Bhagavad Gita way is to transform every moment of our life, not only activity. When we are thinking, later on, initially it is activity might be, but later on we have to watch, we have to look into our mind, look into the thoughts, more the causal level, I call it bhava, we call it bhava. That is the mindset. At that point we have to incorporate all the transformations, so that the thoughts radiated from there will all be noble and pure. And such thoughts will engage us in work also, which is always welfare oriented and will not disturb our mind at all. So the mind will become so beautiful, noble and sublime that you won't like to meditate even. Why are you meditating? Mostly people are meditating to become zero. Thoughts nahi aata hai Swami. Thoughts nahi आना चाहिए. Thoughts nahi आने का मतलब क्या है? Zero. नहीं. When you are having all good thoughts and you are so positively happy with the thoughts, why should you want to have zero? Zero state initially you may like, as long as you are wanting zero state means you are disturbed by your thoughts. Is it not? They are scattered thoughts. When the thoughts are all unified, they are all only about the Atma and the ultimate truth. It's all integrated. Why do you want to avoid them? You will never like to. We will be happier with the thoughts, with the good thoughts, than without the thoughts. मानते नहीं है ना, ऐसे ही बोला जा रहा है. ओके. प्रबुद्धं विमुक्तं विकारादिहीनं प्रसन्नं सदा नित्यबोधस्वरूपं परं निश्चलं निर्गुणं सर्वरूपं भजेऽहं सदानुस्मरामि प्रणौमि. प्रबुद्धं विमुक्तं विकारादिहीनं प्रसन्नं सदा नित्यबोधस्वरूपं परं निश्चलं निर्गुणं सर्वरूपं भजेऽहं सदानुस्मरामि pranami. Hari Om Tat Sat.